Allana Da Graca here, president of Turning on the Lights Global Institute. And how are you guys doing? Oh my gosh. Today is December 19th, and I want to welcome you to the Upgrade My Life in Biz podcast and blog, where we give you tools and tips to reach personal and professional goals. If you don't know me, my name is Dr. Allana Da Graca. I'm the president of Turning on the Lights Global Institute. And we have been empowering people all throughout the year of 2024. But I have to go back some because 2024 was a very interesting year for me. We only have a few more days left in the year, but I will say there were some really trying times for me in 2024. And I just want to share with you guys my story of courage. Everyone in my community knows we have what we call stories of courage because it takes courage to truly show up and be the best version of yourself. But I will tell you, there were times in 2024 where I was asking myself, okay, I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm lethargic. What is going on? And I had to push back a little bit. I had to pause for a moment and really reprioritize what I believed was important for me personally. And so that I could be the effective leader that I need to be and want to be for my community and for those of you that have been following me all of these years. So I just want to thank my tribe. I want to thank my success team. I want to thank everybody who stayed the course despite some of the change in my schedule and despite some of the things that I had going on, because you guys were truly amazing. You showed up, you played full out with me. You came to my inner circles. You came to the conference. If you don't know, we just recently came out of an amazing, intimate conference with some amazing leaders from all around the country. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. And we're going to really have some time to also share with you some highlights throughout this month and even the month of January as we think about all of the things that occurred in my community and with all of you who are striving to really reach new goals. You know, there's nothing like operating where you're just kind of doing things and you're in motion because you've been doing them for a while. And, I just decided part of 2022 and even 2023 and even 2024 that I had to have elements of fun. And I will say that one of the most amazing things that we integrated over the past year and a half was my love of dance and sharing with you my joy from dancing. And I talked a lot about having an unrecognizable year last year and the year prior, because after the pandemic, I really didn't want to just do things just to be doing them. And if you've been in any industry 15 years, 20 years, even longer, you realize that there are certain parts of what you do that just come instinctively to you. And then there are other parts of you that are like, you're so used to what you're doing, you forget all the genius you really are sharing with others. And so I really took a good part or second half of the year to slow down. And it's really been amazing to make sure you get those 8 hours of sleep at night, to make sure you check in with yourself to see if you're tired or are you feeling good, ready to go. And I learned so much about self-care. And it's interesting too, because in our community, we had a conference and a lot of the leaders also talked about the importance of self-care, listening to someone like Leah Marone, who shared the importance of learning how to communicate our wants and our needs, while at the same time not substituting that for just, settling in on things that we don't want, but we can still listen in and even communicate in a given conversation and still do it objectively. So that was amazing. We heard from an amazing woman, Naima Elias, who shared with us her journey in corporate and how she was able to pivot from that and mistakenly start her business, and how she's just following and finding this journey of joy and balance in her own pursuits. And, we just heard from so many amazing leaders that it really allowed me, like a pressure cooker, to really tap into myself again. And I've been doing this conference for 8 years, but this past year was very enlightening to me because I realized, you know what, there's still, even when you're doing something for a long period of time or you've been leading something, there's still something new that you can find. And when you do, it just re-energizes you. So, I really had a lot of time to think about what would I like to see in 2025, not only professionally or business wise, but personally. And, I think back on one of the podcasts I did, you can go and find it. It was called the 5 Mile Equation. And back then, I remember I was talking about, taking up this new challenge to begin running again and how long it took me to get to the 5 miles and how there were people just running fast. They were just like, seemingly like they were just running past me with all of this energy. And how in the midst of those runs, everything was aching. My knees were hurting. I hadn't run that long in years. There were days I remember it was cold outside and I'm there layered up with 2 and 3 sweaters and my hat and my gloves. And I'm running, but I'm running at a very slow pace and people are just whizzing by me. And me just listening to the running coach on my app and just saying, you know what, just one step at a time. And even now, adding that element of movement has been so enlightening, and I think, I had moments where I was working out with a personal trainer and he said, give me a burpee or give me 2 burpees or show me what you can do, and how difficult it was just to do those burpees. But can I say that, it was just 2 days ago and I was able to do a set of burpees without pausing, without having to walk it back. And if any of you guys do those burpees and you know what I'm talking about, and you are able to do a consistent number of them, it just allows you to appreciate all the little steps of what it takes for you to be where you are. So anybody out there trying to balance both entrepreneurship, business, and your personal life, keep going, because as you build your personal life, it's just going to give you that much more energy to do those things that you would like to do to empower others, but you really have to empower yourselves. And it's a continual thing. Another highlight from the year was we did a challenge and we have this night called Clear the Clutter. And it's where you get to, look at an area in your place or your home and you start to clean the heck out of it. You organize it, or you get to your desktop and you clear up that clutter. But look, there's always something that we are either trying to expand upon, make better, do better, but just don't give up. Don't give up. Today, I want to share with you a chapter from my Tomorrow Can't Wait book, Face Your Authentic Self. It's on page 58 in my book, and it says, what would it mean to actually face your inner truth? Now, this is a tough question to answer. While leading women's groups, I have found many who suffer in isolation with depression. They experience nights of restlessness, wondering whether they are alone in their life challenge. And in this emotional space, we feel that nobody understands the hole in our heart that came from abuse, broken relationships, or a lost career opportunity. Let me pause here because sometimes, I think back and, I think to a number of leaders that I've had. I work with high performing leaders. They might be administrators. They might be in a space where they don't want people to know they're in coaching. But one of the most interesting things I have found is that a lot of very smart individuals feel like they don't want anybody to know they're getting help. Oh, Dr. Allana, I love coaching with you because, oh my goodness, it's like I have a coach in my back pocket. Thank you so much. But please don't tell anybody I'm coaching with you. As though there's some kind of shame for getting the support that you need. I've had many coaches. I've had personal training coaches. I've had personal development coaches. I've had spiritual coaches. I've had mentorship. I mean, I love learning. So instead of looking at it like, oh my gosh, I should feel so ashamed for getting help, you should look at it like, I get to learn. And when you change that, you no longer feel this weight of like, feeling like someone is judging you because you actually have to learn something. And it goes on to say, sometimes we cannot change because we don't want to hurt someone we love, and we have sacrificed our personhood to avoid confrontation. While this is a useful coping mechanism, it is temporary, something like poking a pin into our own heart. This causes the greatest possible pain because the repressed feelings need to be expressed. So in other words, what I'm saying is sometimes because we are who we are, whether we are a teacher or an administrator, we're an entrepreneur, or we had some status, it's almost like we feel sometimes that we have to wear this mask and keep this mask going because we don't want to rock the boat. And I've even seen sometimes when you open up to people who you love and like, sometimes they see that as a weakness. Oh, here she is sharing that weakness, or here he is sharing that weakness. And that's an opportunity for you to actually engage, right? So when we share sometimes with those we love, they may not completely understand, what that void is that we might feel, or et cetera. And they may not be the individuals to give you the best advice because they are very familiar to you. So what ends up happening is sometimes we think we have to keep wearing this mask. And by doing so, like this is what I'm saying in the book, by doing so, it's like we are putting a pin in our own heart, because truly sometimes we need, a mental moment to really share what is truly going on, whether we feel tired or we feel let down by people we thought were going to validate us. There are so many examples where I learned more about somebody based upon their product or service, and when I met them in person, they were worse than the product or service. Have you ever had that experience? So we have to learn how to, at some point, look at all those experiences and say, hey, that was a good experience, this was a bad experience, or it was an okay experience. I'm taking this particular thing from that experience and I'm letting all the rest go. But realize that that need to continuously grow and change is always going to be there, no matter what the highest level of your growth has been. So I go on to say that many women are caretakers and nurturers, and these are heroic traits, but they can also be damaging. Many women find it difficult to set strong boundaries or to even mention that they even have limits. And I had to realize this for myself. I would find myself cooking, cleaning, grading, making appointments, and feeling terribly exhausted on a daily basis. Nobody was forcing me to do this. Hubster wasn't forcing me to do this. So why did I think that I had to be this robot every single day? And I still have to catch myself. Some people repress their desires so much that they develop a list of loved ones' wrongdoings. And then it goes on to say, we think that by holding on to this anger, somehow we are hurting the other person. But this is wrong. In essence, we are hurting ourselves. Instead, we should consider effective ways to face the truth, or even our own truths. And, I think about this chapter, Face Your Authentic Self. It is much easier said than done. So one of the things that I highly recommend is, yes, go grab the Tomorrow Can't Wait book. Why should you get this book? Look, I wrote the book as a wake-up call because I was procrastinating writing the book, which many of you have today. And it still is one of the most favorite books that all of my tribe members talk about. It's the one that people say, oh my goodness, even though this book has 40 small chapters, really what does it for me is the questions for growth at the end. So there are questions for growth at the end of each one of these chapters that ask you on this minimal and, 3 questions for you to journal. And what I love about it is, even if you're really busy, you can read this and do it one day at a time. You can take it and do it over a 2 or 3 month period of time. But sometimes, even if you can't invest financially in a coach, you need to invest your time in a process. This book is $18. I don't know why You wouldn't invest $18 for a lifetime of change if you could. And truly, this book changed my life. Tomorrow Can't Wait completely changed my life because it was at a time where I had all the good excuses, right? Oh, I'm too busy. I'm a newlywed. I'm a teacher. My schedule's too hectic. When will I finish the book? And then when I wrote the book and finished the book, then it was a matter of getting out of my own way because I didn't like putting my face on flyers. And I know many of you who see me coach now or speak now, you're like, really? But yes. So I just want you to know that your time can be in 2025. And the way it can be different is when you show up. When you show up differently, things will be different. It's not enough to just go on Instagram and go watch your favorite people. It's not enough. At some point, you need someone who's not going to sugarcoat it and just tell you, look, you need to take drastic action. In my case, many of you are authors and speakers, and you've created programs. And some of you just need to share your genius more. You need to stop being so shy about letting people know how amazing you really are. And I get it because sometimes you feel like you're tooting your own horn. Sometimes it just feels a little weird doing that. But I just want you to know that you're not by yourself. All right. And so I want you every Thursday to tap in every single Thursday between now and, going into 2025. Tap in. Make sure you subscribe to toldyouSpark.com so you can stay abreast of everything that we have going on. Look, we have our events for the year scheduled. We have opportunities for those of you who want to really expand your speaking, for those of you who need to be in a space with other entrepreneurs so you can connect and meet with them and see what they're up to. You just need to be in activation mode. You don't need another coaching program. You need an activation program. And so I highly recommend that you consider thinking about how you can really make 2025 a unique year. And I'll see you at the top. Bye-bye.